This is Tom Reeve, Executive Director of the Bar Harbor Food Pantry. Thank you for watching our relocation presentation. The Bar Harbor Food Pantry has been operating on MDI for over 35 years. 25 of those years we've been in the basement of the YWCA. Our customers are 98% Hancock County residents, the majority of which are working age. Last year, we had a total of 1,100 households, and they visited the pantry over 6,800 times. In the first 5 months of 2023, we had 2,041 visits. In that same amount of time this year, we've seen 4,090 visits. That's a doubling of use. Um, Last year, we gave out over 250,000 pounds of food. We're funded by our community. Community donations account for 55% of our operating costs, and grants account for another 21% of that. In addition, we operate Serendipity, which is a resale clothing place, and that accounts for about 9% of our funding. We are open 16 hours a week. For pantry shopping, people can shop one time a week in the full pantry. And in addition, we are open for 3 hours on Friday for Fresh Food Friday, which is our little farmers market that we use in order to get rid of any food that will not make it to the following week. And that is open to everyone. You do not have to be a pantry customer. And if you've already come to the pantry, you are welcome to come to that. We have 3 full-time staff members. And this year, I have 3 amazing interns who are doing so much help. Our main program is that we are a choice model food pantry, which means that we're like a little grocery store that people can come in and shop at for free. We also operate Serendipity, our resale clothing store in downtown Bar Harbor, and the money there that's raised there goes to help fund the pantry. In addition, we connect our community through food by Fresh Food Friday, where anyone can shop. We also have volunteers and friends who grow food for us that we're able to give out. And one of the major things that we provide our community is in reducing waste. We go to Hannaford 3 times a week to collect food that is near the end of its expiration date. Last year, that accounted for over 36,000 pounds of food. In addition, volunteers help us glean from the farmers market. We glean from local farm stands, and we take end-of-season donations from our restaurants. When asked why we need a new space, I like to show this graph to people. Um, in the last 2 years, the number of customers coming through our door has increased 3 or 4-fold. The reasons behind this are very complicated, and it isn't just us that are being affected. The entire county, state, and nation, food pantries all over are seeing major increases in usage. Um, I don't really want to go into the needs of it, but the long and short of it is that the cost of living, especially for young workers, has disconnected to wages, and it's just really hard to make a go at it right now. This increase in demand has really shown the limits of our small 750 square foot space in the basement. We just do not have the space to meet the demand that we are seeing. When we're seeing over 100 customers a day and we can only have 4 on the floor at a time because of how small it is, you can imagine how lines form, how people can just get really anxious. It's already hard coming to a food pantry, and this just makes it so much harder. It also increases our costs for operations. Um, by having a limited amount of shelf space, we have to basically be constantly restocking because people come in and wipe us out, and we need to keep as consistent of things on the shelves as we can. We're limited in the number of free things that we can purchase from Good Shepherd because we don't have enough cold storage space. I could be getting a lot of free food that's given through the USDA, but I just can't store it. And so that increases our costs as well. And finally, we do not have a ton of processing space. We have a very small little table where we can only have 2 volunteers at a time, and we through that, we can't take in a lot of these great donations that we could get because we just can't. We can't clean. I don't have a sink for cleaning vegetables. We just aren't able to do what we could do with a bigger space. Now, we didn't just willy-nilly decide to purchase the building in downtown Bar Harbor. We explored numerous options, including a rural warehouse, expanding our current location, and building a shed in a parking lot in the parking lot of the YWCA. And all of those had severe limitations that would affect costs and just not be as good for our customers and our community as finding an adequate space in downtown. And so that is ultimately what the board decided to do. As many of you know, in April we purchased Mama DiMattio's at 34 Kennebec Place. We are working right now to renovate the space into a choice model food pantry. Um, the shopping area that is going to be just as large as our entire pantry that we're currently in. We are also going to have a back of house work area for volunteers that is just as large as our entire current pantry. In addition to that, we're going to have a separate dry storage space so that we can store more things. We're going to have offices, which we don't have now. We're going to have handicap parking and a handicap bathroom, which we don't have now. We have a volunteer who is in a wheelchair, and if she needs to use the restroom, she has to go all the way around to the front of the YWCA to use their restroom and then come all the way back, and that can take up to 20 minutes. Um, we are also going to have a walk-in freezer, which will increase our freezer capacity by about 8 times. And this will allow us to get a lot of those free foods that I'm unable to get. We're going to have larger display cold storage and more rack space, which means that maybe we don't need to restock but once, or maybe not at all during the day, maybe just at the end of service. Um, we're going to have an actual receiving area. I have a video on the website showing when we get a delivery from Good Shepherd, it has to come in through the window. So every other week, we're pushing 5,000, 10,000 pounds of food through that window and then storing it in the pantry. Um, as you can imagine, this is not very safe and also just not efficient. And finally, we're going to add a demonstration kitchen. Partners at Healthy Acadia have expressed interest in having a nice demonstration area where they can show people how to make foods um, that are cheap and can extend the seasons of harvest. And we've always wanted to do cooking classes so that we could show our customers how to use pantry foods in a healthy way that can help reduce their grocery bill and provide them with nutritious food for the week. The total cost of this whole project, including operations for 2024, is 2.5 million. Um, the building purchase takes up the majority of that. We were able to secure the purchase in April 2024 using two 400,000 3-year bridge loans from CEI and Genesis Fund. Those bridge loans helped us make the purchase along with some other cash that we had on hand. Um, they are interest only, and if the goal is to be able to pay off those bridge loans using donations, so that we will own the building mortgage free. We also have about 350,000 in renovation and equipment costs. In addition, there are management expenses, and we are adding a 2-year temporary employee to help cover the workload while we are busy renovating this space. Uh, $500,000 is our budgeted 2024 operations. This includes almost $200,000 in food purchases and my staff as well. So all told, we're looking for 2.5 million. So what have we raised so far? We have raised approximately 1.1 million in lead gifts. 450,000 of that is in hand, and 650,000 is promised over the next 2 to 3 years. The board has also allocated 300,000 from our cash reserves towards this project, and we've also raised approximately 100,000 from just annual donations. That leaves us with about $1 million to go. Half of that is our capital fundraising gap, which if we can secure 500,000, that means we'll be able to finalize the purchase, pay off those bridge loans, finish the renovations and the equipment purchasing, and own 34 Kennebec Place outright. Another 500,000 that is to cover the rest of our annual operations, and make sure that we're able to continue providing the community with the food that they need to be secure. We have a small but mighty team. I will be managing this project. I used to do this work back in Indiana before I moved here. Isaac Giberson from Mount Desert is our general contractor. Chris Witham and Carol Shutt from our board are leading this campaign. And keeping the pantry going are Phoebe Denver, our new program director, and Sarah Graves, our pantry manager over the past 10 years. In addition, our board members are fully behind this project and support it. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch through this video. I hope it's been informative, and I hope you gain a better understanding of why we need to relocate to better serve our community and to build food security in our community. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. The best way to reach me is by email, tom@bhfp.org. Thank you so much.